Well, greetings everybody. My name is Mr. Benji Levin. I'm going to use my boyhood name Benji Levin because I come to find out there was a guy named Ben Levin in another country, that pretty high up guy that was arrested on a morals charge. So my adult name is actually Ben Levin. We're going to use the name Benji Levin, my boyhood name, to talk to all you good people. We have a fantastic video today, a wonderful video for you about something that we all know and love, that we're all concerned with, and that is our beloved imperial system of weights and measurements. The weights and measures we all grew up with in the USA. Pounds and ounces, feet and tons, teaspoons and tablespoons. We love it and we want to cherish it. Now when we talk about the imperial system, we got to talk about our nemesis, and that is the metric system. The metric system that tries to impose itself on us, that tries to horn into our way of life. We want to keep the imperial system for now and for always. Now we're not going to talk about other systems. For example, the Texas system uses shitloads. So we're only going to talk about our beloved imperial system. Now I've been around the world and people always ask me, how come the USA doesn't use the metric system? The rest of the world uses the metric system. How come the USA is the only major country that doesn't use the metric system? Well, I've heard all kinds of explanations, scientific and historical, but today you're going to get the straight dope. You're going to hear the real reason why the USA has always used the imperial system and will always use the imperial system. And here's your answer, folks. It's because the imperial system has heart, it has soul, it has warmth, it has brio, it has the ability to talk to people, to make jokes about it. It has all kinds of strength. The metric system is cold and sterile. It's pissant and half-assed. And that is the true reason we love and cherish our imperial system. Now we have a special guest today, a fellow by the name of Metric Man, who was kind enough to come down and sort of represent the metric system. He's going to give some metric measurements, but that takes a lot of courage because very frankly, the metric system sucks. As a matter of fact, that's the theme of our wonderful video today. To hell with the metric system. I'm the devil and I approve this message. Now what we're going to do is talk about the comparisons between the imperial system we know and love and the hated metric system. When we talk about our weights and measures in the USA, we talk of course about one of our favorite personages, one of our favorite mascots, and that is the American cowboy. What does a cowboy wear? A 10-gallon hat.
It's a 37.854 liter hat.
Now this ain't a 10-gallon hat exactly, but it sure as hell ain't a 37.8 hat. This is an imperial hat, baby. We're going to talk about some other comparisons and some other measurements. Now when you're walking down the street and you run into a guy who's so ugly, we can say he's butt ugly. Take a look at this face right here. I'm no prize, I'm no treasure, but sometimes you run into a guy who's so ugly, you got to use your imperial system. You say, he's got a face like 5 miles of bad road.
Like 8.047 kilometers of bad road.
That ain't ugly. 8 kilometers ain't ugly. 5 miles of bad road, that's ugly. Now imagine it's the summertime. You're at the ballpark and your favorite slugger comes up. You hear the crack of the bat and that ball goes sailing right out of the park. An old guy next to you takes off his hat and says, that boy hit that ball a country mile.
1.61 kilometers.
Now tell me folks, which is more dramatic? Which is more lovely? Which is more evocative? A country mile or 1.61 kilometers? No comparison. Imperial system all the way. Now sometimes in the imperial system we can convey feelings and anger. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
A 3.3 meter pole.
That ain't anger. I wouldn't touch the 10-foot pole with a 10-foot pole. Now imagine you're in the Midwest or the South somewhere. You're sitting underneath a tree, got your lemonade, sweat pouring from your brow. You say, it must be 110 degrees in the shade.
43.33 Celsius.
There you go with Celsius again. That cold, heartless Celsius. We want our warm, loving Fahrenheit, 110 to shade. Did you ever travel in Montana and Wyoming? It's big sky country. They say all you can see is miles and miles of miles and miles.
Kilometers and kilometers of kilometers and kilometers.
Does that have the same feeling, folks? You hear how wonderful miles are? Now, in the course of day-to-day life, you might run into a fat chick. There's a lot of fat chicks out there. And did you hear the one about the fat chick? The fat chick got married, and her groom went to take her over the threshold. She was so fat, he had to make 2 trips. But I kid, I'm a kidder, folks. But no kidding, sometimes you run into a chick who's so fat, you say, she weighs a ton.
907.185 kilograms.
That don't convey anything. Now a ton, that's a big old girl. But even though she's fat, she can still be tons of fun.
Megagrams of fun.
Megagrams ain't fun. Tons, now that's fun. I remember our mom used to like to have us grow big and strong by drinking a quart of milk a day.
0.946 liters.
Oh man, that don't give you that milk mustache. That don't make you big and strong. That carton with a quart, that makes you big and strong. Remember hanging out with your buddies? You'd want to go out and this little kid would want to hang out with you. You'd say to him, buzz off, half pint.
Buzz off, 0.237 liters.
Do you hear how stupid that sounds, folks? This is exactly why we want our imperial system. Now, sometimes you find somebody who's imperial, they got a lot of heart and soul and verve, and they got a lot of personality. We say they have more bounce to the ounce.
To the 28.35 grams.
That ain't bounce, and that sure as heck ain't ounce. Now, we can tell a lot of stories using our system. Give them an inch, and they'll take a mile.
Give them 2.54 centimeters, and they'll take 1.61 kilometers.
Doesn't convey anything, folks. Metric system can't hold a candle to our beloved imperial system. Let's think about what we like to do back in the USA. One of them things is watching American football. Now, when you watch American football, you have to use the imperial system to measure it. Suppose you're watching State University. It's a crisp October day. The announcer comes on. 3rd down and 10 yards to go.
3rd down and many centimeters to go.
Centimeters? How can you use yardsticks with centimeters, folks? You got to use the 10 yards. That's watching American football. And then it comes crunch time. The announcer comes on again. 4th down in inches.
Centimeters and decimeters.
It ain't centimeters and decimeters. That ain't American football. Yards, inches, yardsticks. That's why we love imperial. Remember back in the summer times, you used to walk down the midway at the county fair, and you'd come to the food stall with all these weird foods and all these weird paintings, yellow mustard dripping coming down the painting. And you'd come up to the attendant and you'd say, buddy, give me a foot-long hot dog.
A 30.48 centimeter dog.
Absolutely ridiculous, folks. That ain't no foot-long hot dog. We want a foot-long. Now at the next stall, you might see a picture of a juicy hamburger. And you say, my man, give me a quarter pounder.
A 113.398 gram burger.
Do you hear how stern and cold that is? That ain't a juicy burger. Now if you're really hungry, you might say, my man, give me a half pounder.
A 226.796 gram.
You can't even say a 226 gram. You can't even carry a 226 gram. And you sure as hell can't eat a 226 gram. You want that half pounder. That's why they created our beautiful imperial system. Now I'm going to give you folks a measurement. 6 inches.
15.24 centimeters.
You folks got dirty minds. Remember back in the days of the beauty contests? Feminine pulchritude. The young ladies would come out and the announcer would announce it. Miss Yazoo City, 36, 24, 36.
91.44, 60, 91.44.
That ain't no imperial system. That's a goddamn whale, for heaven's sake. That's a goddamn hippopotamus, for heaven's sake. That ain't a beautiful imperial girl. 36, 24, 36. That's what we like. And again, we talk about emotions and stories. We can say life is hard by the yard, but a cinch by the inch.
A cinch by 2.54 centimeters.
That don't convey sentiment. That don't convey warmth. Speaking of pinches, we used to have a nice celebration at a party before the Me Too movement. If a young lady celebrated a birthday, you could come up behind her, squeeze the tuchus, and call it a pinch to grow an inch.
To grow 2.54 centimeters.
Now this is where I gotta put my foot down, folks. You're at a dang party, for heaven's sakes. You got laughter, you got chatter, you got the punch bowl, the young lady that took us, squeeze, pinch to grow an inch. You can't walk around like a robot. A pinch to grow 2.54 centimeters. That's why they invented the imperial system. Now I'm sure all of us knew a rich guy. And rich guys used to have what we call a big old house. 3,000 square feet.
300 square meters.
That ain't no big old house. That's a dang cubby hole. That's a dang rat hole. That ain't no big old house. Did you ever run into a kid who was so tall, 15, 16 years old, just a flat-out beanpole? You say that boy must be 6 foot 1 inches tall.
185 centimeters.
Sounds absolutely stupid, folks. We want an imperial guy who's 6 feet 1 inch tall. And now we come to the most beautiful and emotional measurement of all. Remember the times when you were in the nurse's office? That smell of carbolic acid smelled just like a hospital. The nurse would walk in, usually a portly middle-aged lady with a crisp white uniform, white orthopedic goon shoes, and a crisp three-corner hat. With her, she carried a thermometer. She might have stuck it under your arm. She might have stuck it under your tongue. She might have stuck it somewhere else. But no matter where she stuck it, she'd pull that baby out and shake it. A broad smile would come across her face, and she'd say, "Young man, you're going to be just fine. Temperature normal, 98.6.
37C.
37 degrees centigrade. That's near death, man. That's Antarctica. That's chattering teeth." Do you see how warm and hot and emotional the Fahrenheit system is? So you see, folks, from all these things we've mentioned, how wonderful our imperial system is, all the examples we had, and what a pissant, no-good system the metric system is. So let's all say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. To hell with the metric system. I'm the devil, and I approve this message.